record on this computer. All right, good evening, everybody. It's so happy to see you. Well, almost see you. Hopefully we'll see some of you Monday, Tuesday, and the rest will have to wait a few days. But we have a little presentation to go through. Some of your questions will be answered, kind of throughout the presentation. If you got questions as we go, please put them in the question and then we'll answer those at the end. Hopefully I can just do the first slide where I say, hey, that was me in the paper a few days back and we're coming back to school. So I'm going to leave this little piece up to Dr. Baker. We're all going to jump in, and if you notice this first slide, it's already out of date because we're at 400 already. So Dr. Baker has been doing all the testing and all that stuff, so we're going to let her kind of chat through some of this. Before we get started, you just want to give a wave to the crowd out there when I think they can see us all, but if not, you just want to say hi. Mr. Womble's with us, one of our counselors. Mr. McNeese, our newest assistant principal. Miss Sage back home. Miss Sage is at home. Dr. Baker, our second newest assistant principal. One has 6 months and one has like 1. Miss McVan is here, another counselor. Miss Tarine is here, another one of our counselors. Mr. Lucero is still at work. Good job, Mr. Lucero. Our nurse Nicole is here. And Mr. Holguin, I think you can turn your camera on. I just gave you your access, so you should be able to turn that on. And save the best for last, Mr. Holguin with his, I don't know what that background is, that cowboy stuff. So without further ado, we are so excited to be able to offer this opportunity. It's not going to be like regular school, and it's going to be a little different, but we'll get through it. So again, if you got questions, type them in over there, and then we'll let Dr. Baker run with this, and we'll all kind of jump in. So again, welcome.
All right, well, thanks for the introduction. This slide is completely wrong, like you said. We've been changing numbers all day as we get new information from our students, but in general, we're a little lopsided in the A through L Monday, Tuesday group compared to the Thursday, Friday, M through Z group, but we're getting closer to the 400 mark with students who would like to come back and try the increase in face-to-face interaction 2 days a week, option C on the survey that you filled out. Right now, we have about 50 faculty and staff coming in to help us execute this plan that we'll be detailing throughout the night. And like Mr. Shopacom said, please ask questions and we'll try our best. We know it might be a little bit clunky at the start, but we've done a lot of work to put things into place to do the COVID safe practices and get the kids in with teachers and interacting with one another again. So the days to attend, we know that A through L last names, unless you've made some special arrangements, are on Monday and Tuesday. This coming Monday, February 22nd, and Tuesday, February 23rd, A through L will come to campus. Wednesday is an off day for cleaning and those sorts of things, and then M through Z will be on Thursdays and Friday. This coming Thursday and Friday is our next step registration. Those are school days to get all of the 8th graders registered for 9th grade and get all of the schedules for the upperclassmen arranged with advisory and teachers that way. So that one won't begin until the following week. Mr. Shopacom, did you want to say something about bus transportation starting on March 1st?
Yeah, and just to clarify that a little bit, we have, if you didn't fill out that survey, I'm going to put it in the chat here in a second. If you didn't fill out the survey, if you need the bus, you need to fill out that survey as quick as you can. They're working on the list that I have right now. So the A through L on Monday and Tuesday, this coming Monday, Tuesday, parents, if you can, when your student is normally going to ride the bus, if you want to bring them and drop them off those 2 days, you can. But there will be no bus transportation Monday, Tuesday. And then the next Monday, March 1st, The bus will pick you up kind of like normal. Some of the freshmen, it'll be a little getting used to. Please be patient with this process. We're sending in lists and we're getting all this stuff done as best we can on very short notice. So I'm going to recommend that if you go out to the bus and then all of a sudden the bus doesn't show up or something like that the first day or so, give the school a call, email any of us, and we'll get that taken care of. The first week of school is always kind of like that anyway, but bus route should be done hopefully this weekend. They're working on them this weekend, and then I'll email them out to students, parents, and we'll put them on our website. All that good stuff will be on the LCPS website, I believe, and you can call the bus company, but all that stuff will be ready hopefully this weekend, and then I'll shoot it out to you. But again, Monday, Tuesday, what is that, 22, 23, there's no bus transportation, but if you want to bring your kiddo, we are going to be up and running next Monday, just not with buses. If you got questions on that, put them in the chat and then we can answer those, or in the question answer, we can answer those later.
So in the form that I think the link has already been sent to you, but this is what our pledge from families is to keep our community healthy. You'll receive this in a Google form, and we need you to fill it out, because these are the things that will help us come back and not have to close within a matter of days because of the risk of COVID spread. We're doing everything we possibly can to mitigate spread, but the risk is always there. So we all have to do our part to limit exposure to one another. So we're asking you to please commit to not sending your student to school if they're feeling sick. They can always go remote and you just let us know. Please don't send them if they've experienced a fever or any of the COVID symptoms that are listed. Please don't send your kiddo if they've been in close contact with a person known to have COVID in the last 14 days, or you're waiting results because of positive exposure. We need you on our team, students and parents, to make sure that mask wearing is a thing, except when eating and drinking. We know that's hard. We're trying to be very creative about ways to recognize that mask fatigue is a thing, just like Zoom fatigue is, but we all have to do the mask wearing, especially when we're in the classroom and moving throughout the building. And then if your child gets sick, parents, if you are pickup, we need you to come and get them within 30 minutes. We have an isolation room set up so that if kids come and fall ill, we have plenty of precautions in place to isolate and limit spread that way. So that's what we need from you. We'll be going over what we'll be doing to do our part as well throughout the presentation. We have a link here, and I'll drop it in the chat a little bit later when I'm not talking and trying to do a couple things at once. But those assurances, the pledge, and then telling us whether or not you need transportation, we need a response from everyone. Please, whether you need the bus or not, please fill out the form so we have complete information about what we need to plan for our students. If you have multiple kiddos coming back to the castle, please fill out a form for each kiddo. Do a separate one for each student, just so we have record of each one.
I already put it in the chat, so it's ready to go. It says
Cool.
bus and assurances. So if you haven't done that yet, click on that.
Awesome, thank you. We just wanted to give you a little bit breakdown of what to expect from a typical schedule. We've chosen to mirror the remote schedule that you currently have to keep a little bit of consistency, but then we have opportunities to do more things with you in the building. So there'll be a staggered arrival between 8:30 to 9:30 a.m.-ish. We will have grab and go breakfast in the classroom. Academic support will be available, and then students will participate in their classroom, their regular Zoom. So I saw a question, do you have headphones if my student doesn't have them? Yes, we do. We have extra. We'll go over what we're asking each student to bring, but they'll be working while the teacher is teaching their classes on the regular first, second, third, fourth Zoom schedule, depending on which day it is. Lunch will be from about 11:45 to 12:55. Students will come back and attend their afternoon classes. And then we have some flexibility for the dismissal depending on whether the student is a bus rider, pickup, or student driver. But academic support will be available for anyone who needs it from 3 to 3:30 daily. Student drivers can leave as early as 2:45 when that last class gets out, but they don't have to. They can stay and receive more academic support, but there is some wiggle room there depending on what the mode of transportation is. Let's see. So in terms of arrival, it's flexible because it needs to be flexible for doing well checks and getting students in socially distanced and at a pace that is comfortable for everyone. I'm sure we will get more efficient with it over time, but bus riders will arrive to campus around 8:30 a.m. Any of our walkers and student drivers and drop-offs can get to the building between 9 to 9:30 a.m. Athletes with morning practice, when they wrap up practice, they'll come into the building and make their way to their assigned classroom. And then anytime between the staggered start, there'll be academic support available. All of our staff will go through their standard COVID questionnaire and temperature check. And then students will go through a temperature check process on the way in the building as well. Does anyone want to add anything to staggered start? We're good. We have a map of the building for where drop-offs will occur. We have two main drop-off points on the east side and the west side of the building. So the bus drop is at the mountainside, the east side parking lot. We'll have a well-check station there and a place where the adults are monitoring the kids and doing temp checks on the way in. And then the parent drop-off and student parking lot is on the east side, and that flow of traffic will come in on the Performing Arts Center, PAC Center side. So you can kind of see the aerial of our school and the direction the traffic will flow to get everyone in the building in a staggered start. Thank you, Mr. Lucero, for the awesome picture. All right. So we can provide breakfast for our students after the well check. So they'll come in, get their wellness check, temperature. We will record the student's name and their temperature, grab and go breakfast, and then students will make their way to their assigned classroom. And then they can eat, socialize, do academic support in their designated spot. It's a great time to ask for help from any teachers. So let's say you're in a science teacher's classroom, but you really need help from an English teacher. We need you to ask the person you're placed with, and we have plenty of teachers on site during the morning part of the day to get help from that content teacher before classes start at 10 a.m. So what should you bring? Put the little pictures there. Let me move our faces. Make sure that you have your student ID, computer, laptop. Most students have one checked out from the school. It's okay if you bring your personal laptop, but really we need everyone's help getting laptops charged, and bring the charger with you. So if we need to plug in during the day, we can do that, but bringing it charged will help limit the amount of overusing the plugs. Please bring headphones or earbuds so that during Zoom sessions, we know this is probably the most unflattering part of doing this model, is that it will be hard to participate in your class while the teacher is teaching. So whatever headset you have that works for you, you'll need to bring that, and we'll have extras as well. Face mask, water bottle. We do have refillable water bottle stations that are contactless. Bring your snacks and lunch if you want to. We also have lunch available from the cafeteria, and we just need everybody to have a positive and patient attitude while we figure this out together. I did put optional music instrument. If you like to carry a backpack with pen and pencil and paper while you're working in class, you can do that. Or if you just want it to carry food in your water bottle and stuff, that's fine too. Does anyone want to add anything to what should you bring?
Just going back to the student IDs, if you had yours from last year, please bring that one. Don't Don't worry about the lanyard so much right now. Bring your last year's student ID, even if you have a middle school one. You're a freshman coming in, bring your middle school one. If you don't have an ID, we're just going to probably do like a blank little thing with a sticker on it and your ID on there, just so we can make sure that that's you and you have some documentation when you get in there. The computer, I know there's some questions in here about the computers. Yes, bring the one that you have from home. Again, charge it. Bring your charger with you. We do have some extra computers. So if you have a personal device that you're using at home right now, you don't have to necessarily bring that unless you want to. We can hook that one up to the internet too. We'll get those all hooked up wirelessly, and we'll be just fine with those. Headphones, another big thing. We do have some, but not 400 sets. So again, biggest thing there is ID or your student ID. If you do have one from last year, make sure you bring that.
Cool. Here are some pictures of what the building looks like. We've marked tons of signage everywhere to direct the flow of traffic. The general rule is drive right. So when you exit anywhere, go to the right. When you're coming down, stay right. These stands are placed in all of the hallways and the major traffic areas. We have signage for social distancing and markers on the ground by the bathrooms. And one of the biggest things that we can do and be proactive about is just reminding students to wash their hands often. We have tons of hand sanitizer available with stations throughout the building and in the classroom. But then as much hand washing as you want to do, that's going to help prevent the spread of any germs. So we'll show you a couple of pictures of how the classroom is set up. We have permission from the fire marshal to go up to 14 students per classroom based on our square footage. Comfortably, 7 to 12 makes a little bit more sense. Just because you can doesn't always mean you should. So we're trying to make it comfortable and adhere to all of the rules for the 6-foot space around every student. So all of the seats will be arranged forward facing. We've marked all of the rooms and the desks where a student should sit. And then we've made sure that every room has Kleenex, paper towels, a half gallon of hand sanitizer. Do not push it hard. I think we taped them off so they don't squirt half a gallon in every squirt because they're really, wow, they're powerful containers. And then we also have masks and gloves and cleaner available as needed. We are not short on any of those things for each classroom environment. This is a little bit of what it looks like. It looks like an old school classroom to me with the old school rows facing forward. This is what it will take, and then there's lots of space in between students. We obviously won't be using every seat. We've marked which ones students can sit at, and the teacher will keep a seating chart, so that's their designated spot in the classroom. For lunch, there's a few options for kids as far as how lunch can happen. 9th graders will of course stay on campus. You can bring your lunch or get one from the cafeteria, grab and go again. And right now it's 10th and through 12th graders can leave campus and return for afternoon campus if they want to go off campus to eat lunch. Parents, if you do not want your 10th, 11th, or 12th grade student to leave campus, we need you to let us know so we can make sure that they stay. And we've got that link as well to provide you. If you really would rather them stay at school with their teacher, we can do that. We just need to know for the older students what your preference is. We can have a staggered release depending on the weather. Students will either eat in the classroom or they can go outside with their teacher and socially distance to eat. The weather will continue to get nicer, so we're looking forward to being able to use our outside space as much as possible, just so we don't get cooped up in the classroom. Anything anyone wants to add to that one?
I dropped a link in the chat, so if you want to click on that, really it's an opt-out, parents, for you. If you don't want your kiddo to leave campus, but we are letting any 10, 11, 12 with your permission, or really with the opt-out. So if you don't want them to leave campus, make sure you fill that out. We'll send out all this information so you can do it again if you need to later on. But again, it's an opt-out form. So right now, everybody 10, 11, 12 can leave campus unless you fill out the form. So
that extra time for lunch really helps us to move kids at a pace that isn't rushed so they can actually have time to eat, talk to one another. It gives us a chance to be more staggered in terms of the bathroom usage and the sanitizing that we'll do to make sure we're cleaning high usage spaces throughout the day. This is completely out of nowhere, but I'm thinking about it now. And just so everyone is aware, our counselors will be available while you are on campus. So our A through L counselors will be available on Monday, Tuesday when it's A through L day, and our M through Z counselors will be available on Thursdays and Fridays. So we're excited about that and to have their services available during those times. Restroom breaks. This is what one of our fabulous bathrooms looks like. We have all kinds of signage, but more importantly, we've made sure that we have enough materials to make sure that the soap is always full and paper towels are available. There's all of that. We'll keep it to 1 to 2 students at a time. There's plenty of space in our bathrooms to remain 6 feet apart and have 2 students in there. But we will also use our electrostatic machines to spray and sanitize throughout the day. We did it pretty much during the SAT. We would do it 1 to 2 times throughout the administration, depending on the frequency of the usage. We'll monitor that and spray them as much as we need to, but that'll be available for us as well to keep those spaces germ-free as much as possible. So the building exit, we're gonna figure it out as we go, but here's our plan for now is a staggered release at the end of the day by hallway. That way we can control the traffic swimming down and out of the building. We'll call it by hallway over the intercom, and students will have to keep their masks on until they safely exit. And then all of the teachers and staff that will be supervising throughout the day will escort the students out to the parking lot. That's going to be an area where we're likely to see more congregating of students and taking off masks. And so we know that has to be a highly supervised time just to make sure everyone exits safely.
And just on that a little bit, if you're a student driver, you are expected to go straight to your car, get in your car, and leave campus. I know usually after school there's a big population that kind of hangs out. And again, this isn't normal school for anybody right now. You know, maybe in a month or 2 months from now or whenever. But again, once you exit the building, you go straight to your car, straight to the bus, or straight to walking home. And there's really no kind of hanging out after school.
Yep. We're going to be the trendsetters and figure out how we can do this so more kids can get back to school. I mean, that's really what we're charged with, and we're excited to try it out with this group. Really, it's respecting each other and the COVID protocols, bringing your essential materials. Please, please, please bring your computer with your charger. That's going to help us make sure you have what you need to do your classes. Again, if you have those symptoms, it's okay to stay home. We need you to in this case so that we don't have so many cases that we get shut down. And we know it's going to be a work in progress, and we're going to figure out how this works together. So please communicate with us and the teachers that have adopted you for the day, so to speak. We are beyond excited to have you back in the building. It's been a busy and a hectic and exciting week getting everything ready, but please communicate as much as you can, and we'll try to be flexible and work together to make this happen. Lots of people have been working to make this happen, and we have a thank you slide for many of them. It's been a labor of love the past few weeks to get this in order.
All right. So there are lots of questions in there, and a lot of these we can just run through real quick. Just so you guys can plan a little bit ahead. Nurse Nicole, if you would kind of mention a few things, and I know there was a question or two in there about, you know, if they have a cough, sniffles, anything like that, but anything that you want to tell everybody, and then I'll go to Mr. Lucero and kind of sports before school, after school, what that looks like, and then Mr. Holguin. and then we'll get to the counselors, and then we'll get to all the questions. So Nurse Nicole.
Okay, sorry, one of my videos off, but yes, in regards to if the students have developed symptoms during the day or they show up to school with symptoms, we don't really have a choice, but we do have to send them home because COVID-19 can cause such a variety of symptoms. A runny nose, a headache, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, all those things fall under the possible COVID-19 symptoms. So we would have to send them home. And we would guide you further on what would need to be done in regards to that. I hope that answers your question. If your child has chronic conditions, like in the question you said your child had allergies, if it's going to be a chronic thing and they experience allergies very frequently, we do have a form for students to take to their doctor to fill out, to kind of guide us and let us know what is that student's baseline symptoms when their allergies are flaring up or whatever chronic condition they might have. So if you know, if you want that form, I can get it to you. If you want to you know, call me at school Monday and I can send that home with the student. If you think that's going to be an issue, that probably would be the best way to go, so that we have a little bit more guidance in regards to what is normal for that student. But we will have to be very strict when it comes to students with symptoms at school.
I'm sure we'll have some more for you down the road. So, Mr. Lucero.
Was there a specific question, or do you want me to just give like an overview?
Just an overview and kind of what pods that they're going to be in, and kind of the after school. There's a question in there about after school.
Right. So what we've tried to do is keep the athletes that have been coming since probably July in small groups. We've kept those groups together to work with their teachers that are also their coaches, so that they're only having contact with the same kids and the same coaches / teachers. So that's kind of been very helpful that the coaches are all back teaching in the classroom. We do have morning practices, several morning practices. So if you're an athlete and you're coming back, you can continue with those practices. And when they're done, we just need to get you to your classroom cohort in the morning. And then after school, I think volleyball is an after school. Girls basketball is going to be switching to after school. Or Silverettes have a couple days a week after school. I know tennis has after school. And so band, the percussion group is coming out. I think the color guard just started this week. So those are after school. Those will all still be the same. Your teachers / coaches will have practices anytime after 3 o'clock, which is after most of the Zooms that you'll have for 7th or 8th period. And so everything should go according to plan and normal, as always, as it's been going since back last semester. So not much has changed there. And of course, we'll take a look after Monday and Tuesday next week and see what adjustments need to be made.
Mr. Holguin, anything on your side?
So what we did with any of our students receiving special education services, whether it's on the gifted side of the house or on a student who has a disability, we looked at their schedules, and depending on the amount of support that was identified through their IEP, we placed the students with either a special education teacher during the time that they are at school, or we placed them with a general education teacher as they would have been if we were in actual school. And so other than that, we will have a mental health provider, a school psychologist, also on campus on Tuesday and Thursdays, to be available to provide those specific supports to any of our students who have that related service through their IEP. And also we'll be there to help assist our counselors with any other students who may have any kind of issues that come up that need to be addressed immediately. They'll be there to support that as well. Our special education department head, Ms. Trish Rodriguez, she'll be on campus also all the time. Our IEPs will still continue through Zoom. We aren't having any IEPs on campus. They'll continue through Zoom, and always available for any other questions that anyone may have in regards to special education and what we're doing there. So.
Perfect. Counselors, any burning thoughts before we run through these questions? Anybody mind if I zip through these questions? I can do them in 2 minutes. No, not really. Counselors, anything before we get going?
No, they're just a few people have hands up in the participants, and so I'm not sure if you just want to have them put their question in chat.
Yep. In the
Q&A.
question, yeah. Type all your questions in there, and then if you guys need to jump in as I'm doing this, but I think I can run through. Somebody set a timer. We'll get this timed. How will my child know which class to go to? We'll have a spreadsheet, so when they get there, their name will be on a list, and we will direct them to the right classroom, right area to go. So what we did is we had a spreadsheet for Monday, Tuesday, a spreadsheet for Thursday, Friday. Some of your teachers that have you in class picked you up. There's a max of kind of 10 in each class, so that the athletes went with their coaches. Some of the other clubs, organizations took their kiddos. So whatever teacher kind of grabbed you first, and then we'll have that list for you on Monday when you get there, and then the following Thursday for when the Thursday kiddos come back. So yes, there'll be some computers there. Please bring your computer. We don't have a lot. If you have your own personal device that you're using at home, then we'll have one for you at school, but please, that's just like your ID. If you're going to come to school with your mask, ID, all that good stuff, you always bring your phone in the morning to school. So that's just part of your daily routine now, is bring your computer. There's not going to be a lot of paper activities. There's not going to be too much paper at all. You're going to be on Canvas doing all your stuff. So kids participate in ROTC and orchestra. So as we're going to start out right now, if you are in orchestra, we do have classrooms across the hallway. We're working on getting the orchestra teacher in, so then hopefully, a week or two down the road, once we get kind of all this other stuff settled, we can maybe get you down to her, or she can come up to you, and then you can do some stuff with her one-on-one. We just don't want to mix a lot of the pods and the cohorts, because if we have 10 orchestra kids coming from 10 different teachers in the school or 10 different classes in the school, that's where we have a lot of problems as far as contact tracing and doing all that stuff. So ROTC, if you are in ROTC, I'm not sure if they're going to do something, Mr. Lucero, Holguin, if they're going to do something on Wednesdays, maybe before or after school, but while you're in their class, if you have them for class, they may have you do some stuff in there. So ride the bus regardless of address. Make sure you fill out that form. There are a few spots that are too close to school that you do have to walk, but again, there's the form in there for buses and assurances. Fill that out. And if you're not, and if there's not a bus stop there, then we will let you know and get back to it. Mr. Lucero, if you want to take this one, I know you can, and you don't necessarily need to quarantine, but I think it's more of a competitive cheerleader, and really we have a lot of kids kind of traveling in and out of the state. So not necessarily quarantine, but I just don't want it to affect the rest of the cheer team and the rest of the school. So thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I'm not sure in the question if that means that they're part of our cheer team or not. It just says that they're on a competitive cheer team, so it might be separate from our school. But I mean, 14-day quarantine is recommended, but not mandatory. If you are a member of our cheer team, then we need to have a discussion because there's some rules on that. It's called dual participation, and the NMAA is part of that as well. So if that's the case, you can always email me or contact our coach. If it's not the case and you're just traveling out of state, again, it's recommended by the CDC, but not mandatory.
There, Miss McVan, I think I opened it up so now they can chat to just us. If your child decides that after the first day or two they want to go to option A or fully remote, yes, just let your teacher know. There's flexibility back and forth both ways. So again, I just want to make this clear, and I hope you guys understand that you're coming to school, you sit in a room. Yes, there will be some breaks, but there's not going to be high fives in the hallway. There's not going to be cohorts mixing at lunch. You're going to be with your group. So you're not really going to see your friends unless you're in the same cohort. I know it's not what everybody wants, but that's how we have to start out. So really, if you change your mind, just let your teacher know that you're with. Shoot us an email, and then you can just always go back online. That's absolutely perfectly fine. But again, that's just to make it clear that it's not, you know, there's no holding hands in the hallway, none of that type of stuff. It's 6 feet apart. And really, that's a non-negotiable. If any of that happens in the classroom, in the hallway, outside, anything like that, we're going to ask you to get picked up by mom or dad, and then we'll decide whether you stay home for a couple of weeks and then you can try it again, or you just stay online for the rest of the semester. Hate to be that way, but that's just the way it has to start out, and that's the way it's going to be. So, you know, just to make sure that you're clear on that piece, it's none of the stuff that we were used to. I know their teachers are excited to see you, and they're going to do some fun stuff in the classroom at breaks, at lunch, and all that type of stuff. But if you're in a class with me and your friend is in a class with somebody else, it may be that you won't even see that friend throughout the day, except for maybe before school on the bus and then after school. So school time, drop off, and I'll kind of answer all these all at the same time. If you can at all possible, wait until 7:30-ish. We get there early. There's just no place to really go at 7:30. We'll have a few of us there early, but really anytime after 8 is the best time to drop off. Buses will come about 8:30-ish. Buses should be on kind of the normal schedule they were on last year, maybe running a little bit later, but again, those will come out soon. If you are there early, we're going to try to find a spot for you, you know, way socially distanced from somebody else until teachers get there and all that stuff. But we know some parents work early, and, you know, kids are dropped off sometime at, you know, 6:30 in the morning sometimes, and then we let them in the building. They just kind of hang out, but there's not going to be any of that. So I think 7:30-ish, if you have to, for those parents that work early, that'll be fine. Make other arrangements if you need to. But really 8 o'clock is kind of our target of opening up and doing all that fun type of stuff and getting your temperature check and getting you to the classroom. Student doing sports, do they have to get a second wellness check after practice? No, they just do the one, and we have record or documentation of that piece. The instruments, I think we answered that. Orchestra, yes. Bring your instrument. We'll find a room across the hall for right now. Like I said, hopefully a few weeks down the road, we can figure out how to actually get you to those classes with your teacher. Yes, you could bring your own hand sanitizer. That's absolutely fine. Breakfast and lunch, we're going to have to figure out how to get you guys the form for lunches. As far as the free and reduced lunch, otherwise you can buy lunch. We'll have those forms available, and then hopefully I can get an electronic version of that sent out to everybody, because normally we do that at registration time in August, and since we didn't start school, we didn't do that. So I'm just waiting on an electronic form for that. Yes, you can move from C to A. option C. If you don't want to come sit in the classroom, that's fine. Athletes have to change and get ready for the day after practice. Mr. Lucero.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's hard to say which athletes. I'm assuming that, I think that was a cross country one, maybe. We have restrooms in the FA hall that you can have access to change. I think we're in the process of working on locker rooms for changing purposes only in small groups. I think 25% is or less, but I'll have to clarify that and I'll let coaches know. But right now, if you need to just go into the FA restrooms right outside the front of the gym, you're more than welcome to change in there before class.
Cell phones. Kids are going to love this one for right now, aren't they? They can actually have their cell phone out and use their cell phone. So yay, unless it's distracting for everybody. But yeah, you'll have to do that for some of your assignments and all that good stuff. So again, A through L kiddos, you come back Monday, Tuesday next week. And actually, you're going to get possibly 4 days in before the M through Z crew gets here. But again, A through L starts next Monday and Tuesday. And then we don't really have school Thursday, Friday because of next step. And then you guys will come back on the 1st. So the 1st, 2nd, Wednesday off, and then the 4th. So, right, March 4th, the M through Z kiddos. Food trucks will not be available as of right now. We may work on that a month or so down the road, but as of right now, the food trucks will not be available. And then we'll continue to work on that and what that would look like if we can actually bring those back. Really just the headphones, whatever fits into your device. If you need, like I said, we have some headphones if you need them, but highly recommended that you bring your own headphones. But we do have some nice old people headphones for you, not cool ones like Mr. Lucero and Miss McVan wear. So I would bring your own. Yes. Hey, I finally got to that one. Yes. So to make a long story short about the beard, it started out as No Shave November. And sorry, this is way off tangent. Sorry, guys. I'm going to waste some more of your Friday night. Started out as No Shave November, went into December, and then a few kids I met during lunch and different things said, hey, are you going to shave that? And I said, well, I'm going to do a protest all on my own until we get kids back into school. I'm not going to shave it. So I guess maybe I can shave now because we're getting kids back into school. So it's not a prerequisite. I can't grow it on my head, so I just grow it on my face.
I hope it's not a prerequisite.
Again, the bus schedules will come out hopefully Monday. I know they're working on them this weekend. I talked to the people that were kind of in charge of all that type of stuff. They're going to be working this weekend, and we will email that out to you. So if you got this link to this meeting, then you have we have your right email, and I'll get all that stuff sent out to you for all that good stuff. So, so as far as contact tracing, really, there's some restaurants and that piece open. We're going to contact trace in the school building, in the classroom. I would have a conversation with your kiddo on what they do for lunch and where they go off campus and all that good stuff. We can't really monitor what happens off campus, but they will get their temp check and that stuff when they come back onto campus. So it'll be a little bit of a process when they come back, but really what they kind of do out on their own. I know some of the restaurants are starting to seat a few people, but really we're going to temp check them here, and then we will have every teacher every day do a shoot, just lost it. What's that word? The contact tracing form.
Meaningful contact.
There you go. Meaningful. There you go. Thank you. So if you're walking to school and you need extra support, then show up about 8:30ish, and then you can get that extra support. If not, I would show up about 9:30ish. to get to your class, get your temp check, breakfast, and all that good stuff. So, yes, we're going to have the counselors there. So if you reached out about emotional support, any of those things, reach out to any of the counselors right now. We're going to have people at the building to work with some of those kiddos, because I know it's been, shoot, how long? Almost a year now since they've been in school. So, so if you pick somebody up and you drive them to school, I know that's a situation. You can bring somebody to school if they're in the same type of car. We're not going to let you leave with a multitude, so we'll kind of keep track of how you're coming in. We'd like you to stay more one-on-one, but if you have brother or sister with you, or if you take your next door neighbor, like, it's more important to us that you get to school. But we'll monitor that you're not taking 25 kids off campus with you. It'll be you, and pretty much only you, unless they came with you. So yes, when you get to school, your temperature check. If you need to grab breakfast, you go get breakfast, and then you go straight to your class. Teachers will be up in their rooms and ready. No lockers, so I highly recommend that you bring a backpack with your computer and your charger, and that's it. That's really all you're going to need to start out with, talking about supplies and all that type of stuff. As far as this goes, we're not going to have a lot of supplies. You may do some in-class or fun activities with the teacher that you're with, and may not really be your teacher, but you're not going to need any real supplies. Breakfast and lunch, I'll work with the lead of the cafeteria. So again, we haven't done any of those forms. We haven't even checked. You might have a balance. You might have some money in there already. We'll work through those. We're not going to not feed anybody. You will get fed. If you want a lunch, you're going to get fed one way or the other. Sometimes we break out the change in the back rooms, but you will not be denied lunch. We'll take care of that piece as we go. Again, that's really the first couple of days of school. We always go through that, where we have to make phone calls and we have to get all that stuff figured out. So really, it's like we're starting brand new school in, March. So some of those beginning of the year stuff we will work through as we go. We have a lot more teachers. We have a lot of teachers that have gotten their first shot, some that are on their second shot, just kind of waiting their 14 days, right? Is that 14 days? I think it's 14 days. So once they get through that whole process, yeah, 14 days. Okay. We'll have about 75 of our teachers back. So, but again, even if we have 75 teachers back, it doesn't mean school is going to be normal, guys. It can't be, because we don't have every teacher there. So it's going to be, we're going to have to figure out if we can transition then, if we can move around, but that could be months down the road, or that could be, August of next year. So we're starting out small. And like I said, I know it's not exactly what you want as far as normal school, but is there going to be email that this information is going out? Yes. So we're recording this. We have all the forms. We have the PowerPoint. We have the PowerPoint on a PDF. All that stuff will be emailed out right after this. Well, not right after this meeting, probably tomorrow morning. I need to send it to the video guy at our school, and he's probably going to just love me for having to work on a Friday night, but it's all good. He'll get it done. So I'll get all this stuff out in an email tomorrow. And then really, A through L kiddos, we are so excited. I can't, I haven't slept for a few days getting ready for this. And then also just to see, I'd like to say see your smiling faces, but that's going to be hard. I'm going to have to, how do we do that, Miss Sage? Can't wait to see you on Monday and Tuesday. Again, there aren't any buses on Monday and Tuesday. So if you're a normal bus rider, feel free to bring your kiddo on Monday or Tuesday, and then we will get the bus schedules to you, and then that'll start on the 1st. So again, if you drive, you're more than welcome to come Monday, Tuesday to get us all started and settled. And we're we're going to meet on Wednesday to kind of work out the kinks and all that type of stuff. We've never done this before. You've never done this before. So we're really just super excited that you guys are coming back. I just want to reiterate, and I'm sorry to be, what is it, Debbie Downer or whatever it is. But again, guys, you have to keep your mask on. You have to social distance. You have to keep 6 feet. Like it's a non-negotiable, and it's just the way it has to be. Again, parents, if you get a call and say, hey, you know what, come pick up your kiddo because, they high-fived someone or did somebody, like that's just what we have to do to start out with. So it's going to be uncomfortable a little bit. But I told the team and I told a lot of people that I'm confident in the kids that are coming back, because if you didn't want to come back to school, you wouldn't have signed up for this. So I think we're going to be fine. But if you do get that call, like I said, if it's a week out or if it's 2 weeks out, and then we try you again later, otherwise you stay the rest of the semester online. We'll figure out those pieces as we go. Nurse Nicole, can you talk about the mask a little bit, and then Lucero, I'll go to you.
Yeah, so what's considered acceptable is a cloth face mask that has 2 layers of material. Most cloth face masks that are sold around town have that, or one of those disposable surgical masks. Just no neck gaiters, no mask with the valves that are supposed to make it easier, because that allows the virus out of it. Yes, Mr. Lucero is showing one of those disposable surgical masks. So those are acceptable, yes, like the cloth face mask. And, if your child has one, but it doesn't meet the descriptions that I'm giving you, we do have some extras that we'll be able to give them. I hope that answers that question.
Yes, we have plenty of masks, plenty of sanitizer, plenty of all that good stuff. And just so you know, if you want to, so Mr. Lucero, make sure you, don't say anything. You do know that our Dr. Trujillo superintendent is here listening and following along. So
I saw that.
He was watching you, Mr. Lucero.
I went from here to like, uh-oh. So I saw some questions in the chat about cleaning. What we're going to do is the district has provided us with cleaning machines, misters. And so that's going to take place every night, including on Saturday. I have 2 custodians that are going to be coming in on Saturdays so that they can help support that and do deep cleaning on Saturdays and Wednesdays. So we're also going to have our restrooms. I created a sheet today for custodians. They have it. They know every classroom that students are going to be in, teachers are going to be in, and they're going to sanitize the restrooms on an hourly basis all throughout the day. So we're going to have plenty of cleaning. We have plenty of hand sanitizer stationed. We did that this afternoon. Missy McHorder is one of our secretaries. She's been amazing, running up and down the halls and stairs. And so if anyone sees her, tell her thank you, thank you, thank you. We have signs on all the doors, exit doors. We are prepared and ready to go. All the administrators walked all the classrooms this week and made sure all the desks were 6 feet apart. They're all labeled and they're all ready to go for teachers. So we have everything ready. We just need the students' smiling faces behind the mask ready to come.
Yep. Yeah, I really need to thank really the Missy and that group, the secretarial group, and the custodians. Like, they have worked their behinds off for the last however long. We really should have taken a before and after, because there was a lot of stuff that we were going to discard over the summer, and then we weren't in school, so it just kind of sat there. So in about 2 days, the custodians cleaned the downstairs hallways and cleaned house, and it is so nice, and you guys are going to be excited. If you remember and I don't even want to call it old smelly carpet green, like the carpet is gone. Thank you, Dr. Trujillo, and whoever made that happen. The tile is everywhere now. There's no more carpet, I believe, except for the squares that have been replaced. So it looks amazing. And again, that's Nick, one of our custodians. If you see him, He's our wax on, wax off, does an amazing job, and the school just looks immaculate. Has a few more signs everywhere than it normally does, but
you guys are going to be super impressed with what the building looks like when you come back. If you would have been here Monday till today, it's been a huge transformation, a lot of hard work. But again, big shout out to our custodial crew. They call me every day, and I like to brag about them because I work hand in hand with those men and those ladies. And every day it's like, what else can we do, Mr. Sir? We got to get ready for the kids. So they're just as excited as the teachers and the staff that you guys are coming back. And so even though they're not here, super thank you to all those guys and gals.
Yep. And then again, if you got questions, type them in there. I know it's 6:29. The library, so that's kind of a yes and no question. Yes, the librarian will be there and kind of have books if we need them. We'll work that out with the teacher so you can kind of get them, but you're not going to be able to go in the library. I don't even think anybody can walk in the library. And right now we have so many books all over the place. We're doing inventory, cleaning out and all that good stuff. So yes, you'll be able to get books, but the library won't be open. So we'll work with the teachers on that piece. So again, this starts for last name A through L on Monday. And then really for the M through Z group next Thursday,
March
which
4th?
is March 4th. So I know it's a little bit away. We'll keep sending out emails and doing all that great stuff. So yeah, just make.
Can I say something quick about next step?
Yep.
I know some of you had questions about next step and your appointments. We're still doing next step. It will be the teacher. You should have a meeting, hopefully already scheduled with your advisory teacher. I don't know if we have any incoming freshman parents that also have current students, but you should be getting a call from one of the high school staff to set up that meeting or let you know the times. Meetings will be throughout the week. Monday morning, I know some people are starting right at 8 a.m. and then they're going until the following Wednesday, March 3rd. So hopefully between now, or not now, Monday and the next Wednesday, you should have a meeting with your teacher. If it does happen to fall on a day that you're in class with the teacher, just make whatever teacher you're assigned to aware that you have a meeting, and we could probably, get you into your meeting on Zoom somehow so that you won't have to miss that meeting. But Thursday and Friday are designated no school days, as they said, and so many teachers are just having their appointments on that day. So hopefully by now you have a meeting scheduled for next step for registration for next year.
Perfect. And remember the A through L group, if you emailed me, I think there's 5, 6, 7, 8. You have younger siblings at a different school, something like that. We made arrangements. If you need those arrangements, let's say you have an elementary kiddo going Monday, Tuesday, and your high school kid is Thursday, Friday, please reach out to any of us and we can fix those days and change those days. We're not going to do it for the masses, but if we do have a few that need to be changed, we've done that already. So again, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sleep this weekend. It's gonna be fun. I'm sure catch myself trying to high five and do all that stuff myself. It's gonna be a little bit of a learning curve on that whole piece. I just can't wait to see you guys. I know this whole group here can't wait to see you. The custodians are excited you're coming. So again, it's gonna be a fun first 2 days. Again, go through all that stuff. We'll send all that information out hopefully tomorrow morning as soon as the video is done. Really, if you got any more questions, type them in there. If not, then this meeting will self-destruct very soon. Anybody got anything else? Mr. Holguin, you want to sing for us tonight? Mr. McNeese has been quiet today. I haven't even let the new kid talk. So, but again, if you need anything, you want to stick around and ask a question or two, we'll be here for a few more minutes. Otherwise, probably at 6:35. I'm going to end the meeting, and I see people over there eating without me. So,
So I was real quick, Mr. Shopkan. I was in show choir and choir.
Hey,
So, yeah.
maybe you and McNeese and Womble can sing a song.
Hey.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, you ready, boys?
I was was in show choir with Mr. Silva's wife. Middle school baby.
Yay, the questions have kind of stopped. So again, 6:35, we got a question, throw it in there real quick. If not, see a lot of you on Monday. Some of you on Monday. We can't wait. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What is that, Mr. Wumble? I'm sure glad Billy Bob
Best
wasn't
heart
here
I
tonight.
can- It's a heart.
Billy Bob, no Billy Bob. Say goodbye, and then I'm going to stop recording and end and see ya.
The big
Night, everyone.
O-M.
OM. See you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys get overtime, paid overtime. Make sure
Great
you fill all that
weekend,
out.
everybody.
Overtime sheets. Yeah, right. Overtime.
That
Thank you
means
guys.
we get Sunday off.
Yeah, you're right. I wish we get Saturday, Sunday. Have a great weekend. Thank you, parents, students, whoever was here. Have a good night. See
Good night,
ya.
guys.
Have a good one, everyone. Take care.